suffered with PMS, infertility, any kind of hormone stuff going on. That's what we're talking about today. My name is Dale Ecuyer. I love helping parents create health, harmony, and prosperity through education, holistic protocols, and opportunity. So I have a really special lady with me here today, Danielle Hall. She has an amazing story about all of this stuff. For me, this is like near and dear in my heart because I really do believe that if the body is in balance or when it is in balance, we don't experience these things that people say are normal. It's really not normal to have pain and severe bleeding during menstrual cycles and having difficulty with fertility and having crazy menopause symptoms. Like, it shows an imbalance in the body. And Danielle is a nurse. She really struggled a lot in all of these areas. So she's going to share with us what she has learned through all the research and all the heartache that she's really dealt with and not having answers, but now she does have answers. So she's really passionate about sharing these with you. Thank you so much for being with me here today.
Absolutely. If you have ever felt like your body is working against you, like you're wrestling with these issues and you kind of feel at a loss, because that was me. Starting in high school, all of a sudden, I remember this moment so specifically. There was one morning where I had so much pain, I thought I had appendicitis, and my parents didn't know what to do. And we're like, what the heck is going on? Well, as a couple months went by, I realized I was having that every month. And it happened to be the morning of that I was like going to start my cycle. And I was like, what the heck? This is annoying because it gets in the way of your life. It gets in the way of, like, I remember one morning it happened right before a college class. And I was like, I have to miss my college class. And in nursing school, that is very frowned upon. But when our bodies respond a certain way, we can only do what we can do. So that was something I wrestled with for a few years. And it really, like, I wasn't given great solutions. I was actually told, just get on the pill. They didn't do a scan or anything, but they're like, there's probably some cysts that are going on and causing issues. So just get on this pill. And I didn't feel great about it, but that was enough years ago where I didn't know, like, the
question.
Yeah.
Right.
So that was some of the PMS that I dealt with. I would be super moody. It got to a point where every month before my cycle, the day before, I would get in a crazy fight with my parents. And the next morning I'd be like, dang it. It's not funny, but looking back now, it was so cyclical that over time I started to catch up on it. So it kind of starts back at the beginning of 2020. So I am a nurse. I worked in the neonatal ICU. Loved it. It was my dream job, but I had to be on nights. And within 3 months of being on nights, I lost over 20 pounds. And I just knew my anxiety was through the roof. I was tired all the time, overwhelmed all the time. And that's where I was like, okay, I got to do something about this. My gut issues that I had in college were getting worse. And I was like, okay, so what are we going to do? And I started learning about gut health and how when you have a leaky gut, like, those kind of things can cause a leaky gut and cause inflammation and just really create a mess in our body. And it can come out in different ways. In the past 2 years, my husband and I have been trying to start our family. I had gotten to a point where I felt really healthy and things felt like they were going in the right direction. And then it took us 10 months to get pregnant the first time. And then boom, 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 we had 3 losses, but technically lost 4 babies. And all of a sudden it opened my eyes to, like, okay, I don't know if you've ever felt like you're on this journey of, like, okay, we're going to fix one part of our health thing and then it leads to another, but that's kind of what it felt like. We were taken down this crazy road of testing. If anybody has ever been in the infertility world, I was overwhelmed as a nurse. It's just a whole other world. And after lots of testing, we basically identified that I had some major hormone imbalances, which, knowing what I know now, was connected to a lot of, like, the stress hormone issues and the metabolic hormone issues. But I don't think we as women especially are really educated on all of these things.
Yeah. So would you say, like, because you mentioned gut issues also, so can you describe what kind of gut issues you were experiencing? I'm kind of stepping back just a little bit.
My sophomore year of college, I started having really bad gut issues. My stomach would bloat up. I looked like I was 6 months pregnant. We were like trying to narrow down food sensitivities, but it got to a point where randomly my body would just flare up. And so it would cause me to feel really fatigued. I would either be one way or the other as far as bowel movements, if you catch my drift. And it was frustrating. I had to get off of a meal plan, which caused me to not be able to eat with my friends in college, which is just, if you're somebody who has digestive issues, you know how much it can get in the way. And I had seen holistic doctors, naturopaths, all of the things, and I was put on specific diets. And while it helped, it never really helped me say, like, wow, I actually don't have gut issues anymore and I feel the way that I want to feel.
So looking back, and what you know now in terms of, you sought out the Western medicine to help with fertility. They weren't really able to tell you, okay, you have, hormone issues, like
Hmm.
hello, of course, right?
Yeah.
But they weren't able to tell you what to do about it.
Yeah.
So I think that's when you took things into your own hands.
I would say I've kind of being in the nursing world and the Western medicine, sometimes you feel like you know too much. And I have felt this need to very much advocate for myself because after my first three losses with my OB, who is an amazing man, I was told, just keep trying, things will figure itself out. And I was just like, I don't feel like that's the right path. And then we did a bunch of testing and found this hormone imbalance. But because of exactly what was happening, they didn't know what to do. And I was like, what do you mean you don't know what to do? Like, I'm a person who I'm like, that's not enough for me. We're going to figure this out. I was literally praying, saying, Lord, please help me have a solution that will allow us to have a family because I just felt very stuck.
So where are you now in your journey? So you took it upon yourself to figure out what you can do naturally
Yep.
to get your hormones back in balance, to get your gut back in balance.
I would say we have come so far. I'm still in between. We still don't have our family quite yet, but I took it upon myself and found natural products that helped repair my leaky gut so I don't have food allergies anymore. I can eat gluten and dairy. I try not to eat a ton of it, but I can eat it without issues. I have so much more
Mhm.
energy and brain clarity. And then in the last 5 months, I can't remember how long ago it was, 5, 6 months, I was introduced to a new hormone product that allowed me to balance out my sex hormones, but also my stress hormones and my metabolic hormones too. And so one of my biggest issues was progesterone, which I'm learning is more common than we would probably like it to be. So my progesterone was showing up low. And there's two things that need to happen. Either your progesterone needs to increase or it needs to release at the right time. Mine is releasing at the right time. So my baseline before starting this new hormone product was 10. 10 is not good. After 2 months on it, my baseline bumped up to 15. And 15 was really where my doctor wanted me to be. And in this world, in women's hormones in general, in journeys to try to start your family, that I mean, you're looking for anything to be like, okay, are we moving in the right direction? And that for us has been like, oh my gosh, my body is working the way that it's supposed to, which brings so much freedom.
I love it. Oh, it's so exciting. And I can't wait until you can finish this story. But I
Mhm.
want to just back up just a little bit because we talked about this before we went live here about how women go, 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 and just deny that their bodies need adequate rest, adequate nutrition, adequate ways to reduce stress. So, can you talk a little bit about that and how, because you mentioned burnout and
Mhm.
adrenal fatigue, and that kind of goes along with all of that stuff. So, let's pour into these women that are at your age, childbearing age, and they're like pushing really hard. Like what
Yeah.
happens? Push really hard, like you did.
Yeah. So my push hard started back in high school. It was actually my sophomore year of high school when I remember my gym teacher saying, Danielle, you need to slow down or you're going to burn out. And I was 16 at the time. I'm like, no, 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 no. I'll be fine, And I continued down this path. And I don't know how many years later, she was right. And I think we as women, especially if we're ambitious and we're achievers, we want to do all the things. We want to be on the go. We want to be all of the things for all people. We want to take care of our bodies. Like, we want all of the things. And I think I didn't realize that wasn't unhealthy, actually. And I wonder if anybody watching this has been like, yeah, that's just who I am. And, I do fine on little sleep. I drink some caffeine. I'm good. We make these excuses, but those are actually all causing damage to our body. If you're like me, you don't want to take things off your plate. You don't want to slow down. And I think that's a good thing. But I think prioritizing a couple things is really, really important. So the first thing I'm going to say is you have to prioritize sleep. I'm still working on this because it takes time, but get in a rhythm where you are getting a good quality amount of sleep, because that's really one of the biggest foundations for majority of our health. The second thing is finding moments when you can calm your mind, which can be really, really hard. But if you can even just take 2 minutes, 5 minutes to sit down and just sit in place and just breathe, can just calm your nervous system down a lot more so that you can show up the way that you want. And then the third piece is supplementation. What I love about Amari supplements and how they support our body is they can actually help your body respond better to stress. So you may be doing the same things and you may feel like you're up here. Your body responding like you're up here, it's going to respond like you're down here a little bit. And so that was one of the biggest game changers for me, that I'm like, I don't have to remove everything from my plate. Sometimes you need to, but I don't have to remove everything from my plate. I can actually, people always are like, you can't be so stressed. You got to lower your stress. And sometimes it's like, but I don't want to, or I don't feel that stressed. Having those tools to help you respond better to stress will literally change the game.
I love it. And that's like really one of the main things for me, and what we see with other women and men and kids is building that stress resilience. And you can do that by balancing the gut, which sounds crazy, but that's the science. I mean, it's going to reduce your cortisol. It's going to increase your serotonin, your dopamine, GABA, all that stuff. So yeah, I'm with you 1,000%. So this is great. I hope that you women are listening up, because it will eventually catch up with you. You cannot live in a body that's in fight or flight 24/7. Like, it will catch up with you. And unfortunately for you, it caught up with you in terms of really severe PMS, and then moving on to imbalances that are causing infertility challenges. But I know that you're on it and you are heading in the right direction. And the fact that adaptogenic herbs that are in our hormone balancing brought your progesterone up to a healthy, normal level is absolutely phenomenal. People are given like other types of hormones, like a synthetic kind of hormone. It can really play havoc, and your body's like resisting that. It just doesn't happen.
Yeah, I actually was put on progesterone, and the reason I was praying for something to help me is because progesterone and me don't get along as far as the synthetic one. And so my husband and I were struggling because it would cause me to feel very dark. And I'm like, this is not okay with me. And when I asked my doctor about it, they're like, well, we can partner it with an antidepressant. And I was like, no, I don't want to cause more issues, So I guess my two final things I want to say is, one, fight for yourself, fight for answers. Keep believing that there are solutions out there that can help you feel the way that you want and get the results that you want. And the second thing is, give your body time. It has taken you this long to get into your body, and it can't change overnight. It might take 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, even a little bit more. But if you stick to it, I promise you, your body is smart. It was created amazingly, and it can repair itself over time.
Yes, yes, yes. The body is miraculous. I am so with you on that for sure. Well, we could go on and on, but I love that little last bit right there, because any kind of drug is going to have side effects. So, like you say, be your own advocate. Look at those side effects and weigh it out. And if there's a natural solution, seek it out. I mean, we can show you literally thousands of stories. It's just unbelievable, like people seeking natural solutions now. So we can give you information about that. Thank you again, Danielle, for being with me, sharing your story. And we're going to have you back when that little seed is planted in your belly. So you
Sounds good.
and you can share that with all of us. All right. Thanks again. Take care.